The odds of a rate cut have never seemed more promising as the RBA prepares for its first meeting of the year just hours away. Millions of Aussie mortgage holders are hoping for some much-needed relief in the form of a rate cut. And with underlying inflation at its lowest point in 3 years, comfortably sitting at 3.2%, the tides may have finally turned. For more, economist Evan Lucas joins us live in Melbourne. Great to have you with us. So, are we going to get a rate cut this week?
Sherbo, it certainly looks to be the case. Every angle that most sort of economists and most of the market look at suggests that they are. I mean, it's been almost 2.5 months since the last time we heard from the RBA. Things have changed. We have seen inflation, as you just alluded to, get down to 3.2% and is still heading lower. So the rate of change in inflation is there. So all of that together is why most expect tomorrow to be the first rate cut we've seen in over 4 years.
When you say most, I love what the big four banks are saying at the moment. The CBA, 4 cuts. Westpac, 4 cuts. NAB, 5 cuts on the horizon. ANZ just more conservatively at 2 cuts. The RBA themselves, what are they looking at? Are they looking just at home here? Are they looking internationally with Trump putting tariffs internationally, potentially being inflationary in the US?
We'll hear all about that last part of your question, Sherbo, probably tomorrow. I mean, that will be the big unknown question from what the RBA takes from tariffs, but they'll also talk about what they're looking at overseas. We've seen rate cuts over in Europe. We've seen them in the UK. We've also seen them in the US. And we have seen inflation tick up since they've actually cut rates in those nations. That's what they'll allude to. So that's why the RBA will probably seem more conservative than the big banks that you just pointed out around the trail of rate cuts. There will be several. It's a question of how much, but also when. So once we get tomorrow, if it does happen, when will the next ones be? And some people will point to the idea it's probably in the second half of the year. They need to understand what stimulus causes this rate cut to actually translate into the economy, and that's their big question.
Well, that is the big question, isn't it? So we had 12 rate increases in 13 months, one cut now. How big a difference will it make it for mortgage holders?
For mortgage holders, it's there, but not a huge amount, Sherbo. Let's point it out. So the average mortgage will fall by about $45 to $54, depending on which part of the country you're in. So it helps. It's probably not the biggest change overall. Several cuts will certainly happen. I mean, if you look at that, let's say it's what people think is 3. So that's 0.75 of 1%. That would take about $1,000 to $1,500 per annum out of your overall repayments. That does move the dial. That's why we think there'll be more. The question, though, is that what it does to your overall psyche. I mean, if you've already seen the expectation of rate cuts has seen us start spending again. So that's more the question. What does it do to our psychology, and what does it do to our habits, even though things haven't changed yet?
Yeah, don't spend it before you've got it. Evan, thanks for your time. Here's Nat.